Okay, good day everyone. So once again, I am Ma'am Malehas Sarah Langko. You can call me Ma'am Sarah. So today we are going to talk about A Thousand Splendid Sun by Khaled Hosseini. It was published in 2007. So before we tackle the elements of this novel properly, I have here pictures, okay? So now you have all you have to do is observe the picture, what's happening in the picture, and you can pause the video and chat with your observation on the chat box or in the comment section rather. Okay, second picture. Okay. So let's tackle this picture. So at the first picture you can observe a man beating a woman in front of a child. The second picture depicts an aftermath effects of war to people, okay? Especially the geographic location of the people. So these are just a glimpse of what are the effects of war, not totally encapsulated everything, okay? So before we begin our lesson, here are the objectives for today's class. So at the end of the lesson, the student will be able, or you will be able to determine the elements of the novel, A Thousand Splendid Suns, construct a reflection essay about the characters of A Thousand Splendid Suns, and appreciate the significance of the elements of the novel through answering questions. Okay, now let's proceed. Let's know first who is the author of the story. Let's start with him, Khalid Hosseini. So he was born in Kabul, Afghanistan in 1965. He's um, During his stay, his family actually went to Paris. They were summoned there by the Ministry of the Afghanistan. Uh, Although they were supposed to go back to the Afghanistan in 1980, they weren't able to because of the Soviet army invading the Afghanistan. At the end of the early 2000, Khalid Hosseini published his first novel, Kite Runner. So he's also a goodwill ambassador for UN Refugee Agency, and also established the Khalid Hosseini Foundation. Okay, now let's proceed to the elements of A Thousand Splendid Suns. So let's start with the background of the novel. Okay, so the novel actually um, the novel's purpose is to aid the Western education of Afghanistan through a narrative. It explores the women's right under the Taliban rule. So it depicts traumatic political events in Afghanistan history, including the Sour Revolution, Soviet invasion, Mujahideen, and insurgency, the Taliban regime, and the post-Taliban rebuilding. So it revolves around the events that specifically happened to the Afghanistan because of war invasion. This story actually only explores more on the women's side. It shows how the women are treated at this crucial time. Okay, so now let's proceed to the characters of the story. So we have here now the first character, Miriam. So we are going to talk about the specific important characters in the story as well as some side characters. Okay, so we have now Miriam. So she is Hirami. In English, bastard. In Tagalog, anak sa labas. She is daughter of Nana and Jalil, a first wife of Rashid. They married when she was just 15 years old. At the later part of the story, she was inspired by Lila. Okay, so now let's proceed with Lila. So Lila is daughter of Hakim and Fariba. She is well loved and educated by her parents. She is also the second wife of Rashid. They got married while she was just only 14 years old. So for Tariq's lover. Okay, so Lila and Tariq's are lover. So these two, Mariam and Lila, are the protagonists of the story. The main protagonist of the story, actually. The story revolves around both of them and their experiences as well. Because the story actually is about the experiences of women during the war in Afghanistan. Okay, now let's proceed. We have Rashid. Rashid is Jalil's friend. He's a huge man, a bulky man. He owns a shoe repair shop and he is also a shoemaker. He is a widowed man and a childless man because his wife and children died in the war. He is also a hypocrite and extremist believer of Islam. Okay? So now we have Tariq. He is Lila's lover. He is crippled from war. He's also Aziz's father and a strong heart. Okay, so he played a very good character in the story depicting not all men in Afghanistan are hard, or evil like Rashid. So he's the opposite of the character of Rashid. Now we got Aziza. He is the daughter of Lila and Tariq. She was almost she almost became a harami. However, since Lila married Rashid, Aziza became haram. No, um, uh, Aziza's life become halal in Islam. Okay, so she's loved by Lila despite being disdained by Rashid. Okay, because of this, uh, the disdain of Rashid resulted Aziza resulted to Aziza being sent to orphanage. Okay, so now let's proceed to the other characters in the story. So we have here Nana and Jalil, parents of Miriam, Hakim and Fariba, parents of Lila, Zalmai is son of Lila and Rashid. Okay, so Zalmai is the favorite son of Rashid from Lila, okay? Because this is his first child from the two wives that he married after he got widowed. Okay, so now let's proceed to Masim and Ramin. These are the legitimate son of Jalil. They are the ones who often give food and supplies to Mariam and Nana in their um, cabin. Then Bibi Joe is Nana's friends and Mullah Faizullah is Miriam's tutor. Okay. Other characters, we also have Afsun, Jalil's legitimate wife. So Afsun is not really fond of um, Nana because she is, of course, the other woman of her husband. Nilofer, Afsun and Jalil's son, Giti and Hasina, Lila's friends and classmates. Ahmad and Noor are Lila's brothers. So Ahmad and Noor actually died together with Lila's parents during Soviet war. That's why she got married to Rashid just for her safety. And then Kadim, Lila's bully. So Kadim is actually really bad. He squirted some pee using a gun to Lila, and this resulted for him to get beaten up by uh Who is this again? Tariq. Yes, Tariq. Lila's lover. Okay. So we have again Zaman, the kind director of the orphanage where Aziza got sent to. Now we have Salim, an elderly man in Pakistani prison who connects Tariq to owner of Hotel Said. Said is a brother of Salim who owns the hotel. And Hamza Mullah's Faizullah's son who helped Lala later in the story. Okay? Now since we're done with the characters, we have now the setting of the novel. So A Thousand Splendid Suns is happened in Kabul, Afghanistan from early 1960s to the early 2000s. So early 1960s is the late Soviet war, and the early 2000 is the early Taliban um, regime. Okay, now Mariam is a young girl in the 1960s, grows up outside Herat, a small city in Afghanistan. So this revolves around Mariam and Lila, who are women at this time during the time of Soviet war and Taliban's regime. So now let's proceed to the point of view of the story. So the story is told by an omniscient narrator who knows the past and the future and the characters' thoughts. Although the narrator is not an actual character in the story, they still plays a big role in the story, of course, because they are the one who told the story to the audience. Okay, so the theme of the story is the rights of women, especially under the Taliban regime. Also, this is there. Although there's a lot of theme in this, the theme. Although there's a lot of theme that the story shows, the main theme of the story is the women's right as well as war. But we can just give it the women's right as it is such. Okay, obviously it's about women's right. Now let's proceed or feminism. Okay, so I have an activity posted on the description or the comment section of this video. You can access it and you can just pause this video lecture and answer it first. Okay? There's no limited time. I hope you just, practice integrity as well as honesty during answering. The it is also recorded, so I hope you answered and you will answer it. Okay. Okay. So now, um, I will assume that you've answered it already. Since we're done with the lecture, if you have any more questions, just jot it down in the comment section or message me on Facebook. Okay? I would suggest though that you will jot it down the comment section. I will see it because it would be really hectic on Messenger. Okay? So to further challenge your knowledge with our topic for today, Afghanistan is still in the news a lot. Okay, what do you think is the solution to improve their situation? So their situation is there, especially let's focus more on the women's right or the feminism over there. What do you think is the solution to improve the treatment to the women in the Afghanistan city? Okay, you can jot it down on the chat box. You can pause this and then just come back later on. Okay, now let's proceed to the second question. If you were one of the character from the novel, who would you be? And what are the things that you would do differently? Okay, again, you can chat it down on the comment section, your answers, and then you can just simply pause the video once again. I would assume you are finished. Now let's proceed to our quiz. So write a reflection essay about the characters of the novel entitled A Thousand Splendid Suns. Here is the instructions. It should have a title of its own. It should be written in three paragraphs and in a one whole sheet of paper. These are the rubrics, the content, the 10 points, percent relevant and or accurate idea, organization of thoughts, 5 points, sentence and ideas are coherent and cohesive, grammar, punctuation and spelling, 5 points, no error in the use of grammar or punctuation and incorrect spelling. So I would be checking this to you. I would be taking all of this to you from you in our face-to-face lesson or face-to-face class. Now let's review our objectives. Again, I would as you have determined the elements of the novel A Thousand Splendid Suns, so very good. Construct a reflection essay about the novel A Thousand Splendid Suns to be passed to me on the face-to-face class session. And appreciate the significance of the novel through answering questions. Okay? Very good. Now, for your assignment, you have to read in advance about the elements of the novel of Pride and Prejudice. Okay, very good. So I hope you've learned something. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye.